Our last lesson was on Friday. Uh, so,
Yes.
so I'm doing great, sir, and my weekend was also good. Actually, nowadays we are a little busy because
Yes.
in my brother's wedding is there, so we are preparing for that. Uh,
So you have your brother's wedding, is that right?
yes, sir.
Right. Well, congratulations for your brother. That's great. I'm very pleased to hear that, Arpit.
Yes.
That's
Actually, his
brilliant.
wedding was supposed to be in Feb, but unfortunate because he's right now in Sweden,
In
and so because of
Sweden. Wow. Is that in Stockholm?
no, sir, Gothenburg.
Oh, Gothenburg. Oh, yes, that's very nice. I've heard it's a lovely place in Gothenburg. I have one of my other students who often goes to Gothenburg for business because the company he works for has a subsidiary in Gothenburg, so he often goes there on business trips.
Mhm.
So yes, I was. He's a Czech student.
Okay. Mhm.
Is he
Mhm.
Czech or Polish? Oh, I can't remember. I have Czech students, I have Polish students, I have quite a few students from Eastern Europe, and I know he travels a lot. He also goes to Mexico and to China. Can you imagine? Sweden, Mexico, and China. Well,
So
that's
it is a business trip or it's for leisure?
oh no, it's business.
Okay.
He's in. I think it's my Polish student. That's right, and he's in the automotive industry with the
Oh,
cars, you
okay.
see. And
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
there are branch offices in Sweden, in Mexico, and also in China. Can you imagine? For this car company that he works for. And so he has to go all over the world. And that is really varied because you have Scandinavia,
Mm.
Northern Europe. You have Mexico, which is like a Latino country in America, or North America, but it's Latino, like South
Yes.
America. And you also have Asia with China. So it means that it's very varied, lots of variety, which is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Sir, my brother is also in automobile. He's actually doing
Really?
research with Volvo
Wow.
car. Volvo
That's
car is
great.
situated in Sweden only.
Of course, that's right. But it's a Swedish car, the Volvo.
Yes.
That's
So he's
right.
actually doing a research on driverless car. Mm.
Oh, that's interesting. Oh, wonderful. And at the moment, do they work well, these driverless cars? Are they already, operational,
No,
or are
sir.
not yet?
Yeah, sir. It is right now. I can say it is in a pilot situation right now.
Ah,
Uh,
right.
uh,
Yes. Hmm.
so, so that's what. So he has not revealed me a lot about that thing because he has said I cannot say much about that.
Of
You know what
course,
features?
professional secrets, professional discretion, confidentiality. I understand, of course. Yes, I understand. But it's good that he's doing that because that must be really interesting.
Yes, sir. And so this year, sorry, in last year, 2020, we were supposed to go to Sweden, but unfortunately, because of this COVID, all plan got
Uh-huh.
cancelled, and his marriage
Yes.
also got delayed because of that.
Oh
Because
no, that's terrible. That's awful. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But it's good that he's having his marriage now. That is
yes,
good news.
yes.
Well, I'm really pleased to hear that, Arpit. That's great. So wonderful. Now, remind me what we did last time in our
Uh,
last lesson together, Arpit.
so last lesson, we did a role play again. You
Mm-hmm.
became a customer, and I was means I did my own work as a what you say salesman of a clothes shop.
Mm-hmm.
Means and I was like it's my business also. So you said like I will come at your shop as a as a customer to buy some
Yes,
clothes. So you
that's right.
so that's what we were doing, sir. So you were
That's
customer and I was a shop owner.
that's excellent, Arpit. That's really good. Yes, I really enjoyed that as well. That was wonderful. We had a wonderful time with that. So, what scenario would you like for today's lesson, Arpit? Tell me.
Mm. Sir, as you wish. Like last time we spoke, sir, you said like we will do some reading practice also for 10-15 minutes.
Oh,
And
yes, that's right. I remember that. Absolutely. That's very
and
important. Hmm.
and sir, I had sent you one link. You told me that take a test of your level, then you will come to know. So I had sent you a link also. Uh,
Oh, yes, that's right. You did send me the link, and you did really well. Do you remember last time you asked me what level of English I thought that you had? And I said it was like upper intermediate
yes.
because uh, on your Skype profile, you've
Mhm.
written like 2 out of 5. I think, let me just check that for your English. And I felt it should be more than that because 2 out of 5 is like lower intermediate. You see, it's less than 50% because 50% is 2.5 out of 5. But I reckon it should be higher. I think your level of English is closer to being 3 out of 5. You
Mhm.
see.
Okay, sir.
So instead of B1, I think you're much closer to a B2 level,
Mhm.
which is the upper intermediate. Now, if you look on the test,
Mhm.
uh, the equivalent of 27
Mhm.
is, they said intermediate, but it
Mhm.
is only 3 points away
Mhm.
from being upper intermediate
Mhm.
because upper intermediate is like 30
Mhm.
out of 40.
Mhm.
And also, if you look at the actual score and you look at the actual test
Mhm.
results, or well, the actual key that they use to indicate the level that you
Mhm.
have of English,
Mhm.
uh, they say that the intermediate level
Mhm.
is from 23 to 29, you see.
Correct.
Now, you had 27, which is more than the middle mark between 23 and 29, because the middle mark
Mhm.
between 23 and 29 would be 26, you see?
Mhm.
So from
Correct, sir.
23, you have 24, 25, 26. That's
Mhm.
3 extra points. That would be the
Mhm.
middle. And then an
Correct.
extra 3, 27, 28, 29. That would
Mhm.
be the highest level in the intermediate level. So you are in the upper half of that particular intermediate level, if you see what I mean. And
Yes, sir.
because
I
they
understood.
also indicate the IELTS band equivalent, so
Mhm.
if it was 23 to 26, that would be, let's say, band level 4, but you are actually IELTS band equivalent 5 because you are the upper part of the
Mhm.
intermediate level. You see that because you're 27, which is
Mhm.
higher than the middle mark between 23 and 29. So
Mhm.
when I was saying
Mhm.
upper intermediate, I wasn't far
Mhm.
from what actually, I mean, your result wasn't far from what I'd actually said. It
Yes,
was
sir.
only just a little
Yeah.
bit out, but
And sir, I think one or two mistake which I made is due to my negligence. Otherwise,
yes,
I
I
would.
saw that. I saw that because when I looked at your test, when you sent it to me, I saw that most of the mistakes were things that we had already looked at uh, in the previous lesson we had just before you did the test. And you
Mhm.
remember we said that the two things that were important were the plurals. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Because you had a little bit of difficulty with the plurals, and the other thing was with there was
With that,
something else.
sir. I always,
Yes. Hmm.
instead of using those, I used to use that.
That's right. That's right. That instead of those. That was the other thing. Um,
Another thing was to get. Means I always means you said
mhm,
not to use get. Mean instead of get. Like I got coffee. So got coffee doesn't define the full thing. Like
that's
how
right. Exactly.
use.
Quite right. Yes, those were the things. And also with the plural, it's not only the S at the ends of words, but also whether in the verb you're saying is or you're saying are. Is being the third person
Single.
singular and are indicating the plural. So once again, we're talking about the plural person both in the verbs and in the nouns, which have to be plural and the S pronounced clearly at the end. So I think that if you hadn't made
Hello.
those mistakes or concentration, and if you hadn't made those mistakes that you said that were just, you know, mistakes from lack of attention, concentration, because you actually knew what it should be, because we'd actually seen that in the previous lesson. If you'd avoided those mistakes that we looked at in the previous lesson, you would have had at least 30 or more, and you
Correct.
would have been upper intermediate. So I was saying upper intermediate uh,
Mm,
based on your level having corrected the mistakes from the previous lessons. So
yes.
I'm happy that what I said corresponded to what your
Yes.
result should have been if you'd have been a little bit more careful with those
Yes.
plurals and those things. But I think you did very well indeed. And how did you find it? What did you think of this test, Arpit? What was your impression? Hmm.
Sir, this test is really good to to know where what is your level, because like many students who are trying to learn this language, they are confused about their level. They don't know where actually they are. So if
Hmm.
they know their level, so accordingly they can search the lesson,
Hmm.
means on YouTube or online, or they can directly talk with tutor about this. Like means I am at this level,
Hmm.
so means what should I do to improve. Like
Yes.
there are many students who have listening problems, but I don't have
Yes.
listening problems. I can
Hmm.
understand each and everything what you're saying. And I have
Hmm.
talked to from people from UK. I have talked to people from USA and people
Hmm.
from Australia, and I didn't have any problem. Or
Mm.
like means I didn't understand what they're saying, so I don't means I didn't face that issue. But there are students who are means who join these classes just for listening practice, but my
Right.
listening is good.
That's
Mm.
right. Absolutely. And as you say, it's good to know your level and it's good to do this test and see where your weaknesses lie so that you know what you need to concentrate on, what needs to be focused on. So this is really helpful, really useful, and actually confirms the things that I'd said in the previous lesson that you need to be
Yes, sir.
careful about, like the plurals and the that
Correct.
and those. And
Yes.
so it's good. It's a good test which actually shows clearly the same sort of things that we'd already seen in the
Correct.
previous lesson. So I'm very pleased to see that. Now, what we can do, if you like, Arpit, is to have a look at the mistakes that you made in that test, if
Yes,
you
sir.
want to, so
Yes, sir.
that you know how to avoid making those mistakes next
Correct.
time. Is that all
Uh,
right?
yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir. Hmm.
Okay, let's do that then. So I'm looking at your test now,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll look at the first mistake,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay. The question was what something, and
Mm.
then he's planning a seminar. Now, you answered he is planning, so it's like saying
Mm.
what he is planning, but you need to be careful of the word order and sentence
Mm.
structure. Here it's
Mm.
the word order for verbs, and what is the rule concerning the order of the subject and the verb when it's a question? Arpit? What is the rule concerning that? Do you know?
So like means you asking a question, so it should be like
Yes.
uh, uh, so
The
you're
word
asking.
order, the word order when you're asking a question. When it's a statement,
Mhm.
you would say, he is planning. So the answer you gave was the answer if it had been a statement. You see, you could say, what if the
What?
question was, what is he doing? And the answer would be, he is planning. But
Mm.
here, the blank is in the middle of a question. So
Mm.
we cannot use a statement in a question. It's either a statement or a question. A question is a sentence
Okay.
with a question mark at the end. So what is
So,
the word order in a question, please,
so
Arpit?
it should be like what is he planning? Uh,
Right, that's right. And what happens to the word order of the uh, noun, or in this case pronoun, which is a subject, and the verb? Concerning the order of the words, what happens when it becomes a question rather than a statement? Can you see what happens there? Can you explain
uh,
to me,
what?
Arpit? What happens to the word order? What changes when it
So
goes from
he like
yes?
he the person he goes in the last when it is a question.
Right. It goes in the last position compared to the verb, and the verb goes in the first position.
First
So
person.
in fact, they change positions. Okay,
Mm.
it's called inversion. Have you heard
Mm.
of inversion, Arpit?
No, sir.
You haven't heard of this word. This is the technical term for
Yes.
this. Okay,
Mm.
it's called inversion. Okay, and so uh, the words are inverted. Okay,
Okay. Words are
you
inverted.
may have
Okay.
heard of inverted commas. Have you ever heard of inverted commas?
Yes, sir. I have heard.
What are inverted commas? Can you describe to me what they are,
Sir,
please?
inverted commas are there is a word in the middle, and then both the side of the word there is a upper side comma.
Right, it's the opposite comma. You know, they are like inverted, you see?
Yes, sir.
They're like
Yes.
the other way round, like upside down. Okay, that's
Yes.
inverted commas.
Mm.
Excellent. So, that way you understand the principle of inversion, where the words change places with each other. And that's the principle of a question. For the word order of a question, instead of saying he is something, like in a statement, it's the
Mm.
question is asking, is he something?
Mm. Mm.
Okay? Is that
Okay, sir.
clear? That's clear for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yeah, it is clear.
that's brilliant. Excellent. So now let's have a look at the uh, next one where there was a mistake. So I'll let you read what it says so that it gives you a bit of reading practice, please, Arpit.
Yes, sir.
Where it starts with the word look. Can you see the next one where it starts with the word look? The next mistake you made after. Uh,
Sir, where I have to go, sir? Means I am not
j-
able to
j-
see.
oh, you haven't opened up the test results? Did you open
No,
up?
sir. No, sir.
Ah,
No.
can you open up the test results? Is
Uh,
that possible for you to click on the link that you
just,
sent me before and have a
yes,
look at the
sir.
test results?
Just a
Or
second.
yeah,
Okay, yeah, I am able to see. Yes. Yes.
okay. So the first mistake we've already looked at. It's the question what and then the
Mhm.
blank,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the next one starts with the
Okay.
word look. Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Look
Okay.
at those forecasts. It
Yes.
dash be a profitable next year. Okay.
A
So I said,
profitable
sir,
year next year.
yes, sir. So,
Okay.
sir, here I was little bit confused. Like look at those forecasts. It
Yes.
will be profitable next year. So, don't you means it is not right?
Let's say that grammatically and
Mhm.
technically it is correct from a grammatical and technical point of view. If it was just a sentence on its own,
Mhm.
it will be a profitable year next year. That is grammatically correct and technically correct. There's nothing wrong with that. But that sentence is not on its own. There is another sentence before it
Yeah.
referring to the forecasts, saying, look at those forecasts. So here we are referring to forecasts. Now,
Mm.
what exactly is a forecast? Can you explain that word to me, please, Arpit?
So forecast is you can you are predicting the future. It's like according to the data, you are predicting the future. Like see, like from means to forecast about the company future. You will see their balance sheet like from last
Mhm.
5 years, like the investors they do, and then according to that they decide like, okay, the company forecast it's going to be a good because they are going to make good profit next year according to
Right,
current.
exactly. So we are looking in advance at what's going to happen in the future, but
Mhm.
is it something that's definite? Is it something which we are sure will happen 100%?
Mm.
Or is it possible that it might not be exactly as we say 100%? Is it
That-
sure, definite, certain, without a doubt, 100% when you're forecasting something? Do things always work out
no,
according to the forecasts
no,
100%?
no, sir.
No, no.
Right.
And that is the difference, you see. When you're
Mm.
saying it will be so, that is definite. It's sure, it's certain, 100%. It will be. It's like the word of the
100%.
Almighty. If the Almighty says it will be
Mm.
so, then you can be sure it will be so because the Almighty has
Mm.
spoken. But here, these are not the
Yeah.
words of the Almighty. And these are human forecasts. These are not prophecies like the
Correct.
Almighty would give. And so
Mm.
there is always the element of doubt. And
Mm.
so this element of doubt is reflected in the words is going to.
Mm. Yes, 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 yes.
Instead of
Yeah.
saying it will be so, it's saying it's going. It's like saying going is like
Mhm.
movement, you see.
Yes, 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 yes.
So it's going in a certain direction. It's going in a
Right.
profitable direction. You see, it's
Mm.
like a trend. You know what
Correct.
a trend is,
Trend.
Arpit?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay.
yes, sir.
You know the trend can go a certain way, in a
Correct, sir.
certain direction, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about a possible trend, a possible
Mm.
direction in which it will go. You see,
Mm.
we're talking about
Yes,
movement towards that
correct, correct.
direction and in that direction. So, this is why to reflect the fact that it's a forecast, we don't have a definite word like will, but we have a much vaguer,
Mm.
less definite word like is going to be.
Yes, yes, sir. I got it, sir.
You
Yes.
understand that difference?
Yeah, I
Okay,
understand, sir.
okay. And so, as they say in the feedback, and they explain it clearly, is going to is used to make a prediction based
Mm.
on current evidence, but we're only predicting, but we're not
Yes,
sure 100%. Okay?
correct, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Very good. Let's go on to the next one then, Arpit.
So, third one is, did you see the journalist in
Mm-hmm.
our office yesterday? No, why? Okay. So I said, sir, he was there. So yeah, here I know my mistakes because it is not in a question form. Like he was there.
Right.
Actually, actually
That's
it was.
it.
Yeah. So was he? Was he here? It should be
Right.
like that.
Exactly. You always have to invert when it's a question. Always use inversion when it's a question. Wonderful. But that you already know that now because we saw that earlier. So that is clear in your mind now, Arpit. You won't
Yes.
make that mistake again, will you?
Hope so,
No.
sir.
We pray that you won't make that mistake again. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Very good. Mm-hmm.
Dash incredible news, and here also I made a mistake, so actually it's a news. And
Mm-hmm.
sir, so it should it should be what incredible news. But I
And
said, what a incredible news.
exactly, it's all about singular and
Yes,
plural. Now, when it's plural, there is no article, no
correct,
a, no
correct,
the. But when it's singular, that's when you need a or the. You know that now.
correct.
Yes. Wonderful, excellent. And that would have been a question where you would have had it right if
Hmm.
you'd have applied that knowledge about the difference between when it's singular and plural.
Okay.
Okay? Right.
Actually, sir, what I got confused, like incredible news. News can be one also, right? But news,
It can
there is
be
no.
an
Mhm,
article of news, a piece of news, an
mhm.
element of news. You see what I mean? You do
Yes.
not say a news on its own, you see?
Mhm, mhm,
um, you always have to talk about an article of news, an item of news, a piece of
mhm.
news, an element of news. It's always has to be referring to a part of it.
Part.
You see,
Yes, 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 yes. Yes. So
you
yeah,
can, yes,
yes, sir. That's why I got confused because I read
right.
somewhere like this what you said a piece of news. So I thought that here also it will come what an incredible news. But then I realized okay news.
Right.
It's not talking about anything about part of news. It's just an incredible news.
That's it. Just incredible news. Right. Brilliant. Well done, Arpit. So let's go on to the next one.
Yes, sir. We dash my editor since last year, uh,
Yes.
and I said we didn't see my editor
Hmm.
since last year.
Yes.
So we didn't say, sir. It changed the sentence actually, like it makes it into past tense. Um, but
That.
here,
Mhm.
Mhm. But here actually it is talking just as a casual, like normal way. We have not seen my editor, means haven't seen my editor since last year. Uh,
Yes. It's because of the sense and the
but
use of the word since, because we're talking about
Mhm,
something that has happened in the past.
mhm,
Um, so, from a certain point of time, and here it's like a year ago, so it's since that time. And
mhm.
so, as it's since that time, we use the present perfect. So, haven't seen rather than didn't see.
Okay, so didn't see, you are saying, sir, it is wrong because since is there, because it's already in the, it's talking about the past.
For example, if I was to say, if you were to ask me, if I was to say to you, I'm sorry, Arpit, I didn't see your pen when I looked. Well, you see, it's like just I didn't see it, but it's
Mm,
not referring to something that happened since a certain time in the past. If
mm,
it's happening since a certain part of the task, I could say, Arpit, I haven't seen your pen for many days now, maybe even
mm,
weeks. I don't know where it is. I don't know what's
mm,
happened to your pen. I don't know. I have no idea what is the situation concerning your pen. You see,
mm,
that would
mm.
be I haven't seen it because
Uh,
it's since a certain time in the past that I haven't seen it. But
mm,
if you were to ask me, Walter, did you see my pen? Uh, you know, and I could say, no, Arpit, I didn't see it on your desk when I went past your desk earlier today. I'm sorry, I didn't see your pen. No, you see
mm,
the difference when you're adding that sense of time in the past, since when it's happened. Then you need the present perfect. Haven't
mhm.
seen
Okay,
instead of
yes,
didn't see. You
didn't
see?
see. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
because it's seen
Mm,
instead of see. See,
mm.
you see, is like
Yes, yes, yes.
the present or the infinitive, but seen is the past participle. And you
Mm,
need to have that sense of it being in the past, further in the past, by using that construction of haven't seen the present
yeah.
perfect when you're
Uh,
referring to something
In the
since a
past.
certain, that's right, in the past, but since a certain time in the past.
Certain time,
I
yeah.
haven't seen it since then. It's in that
Mhm.
sense. You
Yes. That,
understand that?
yes, sir, I understood. Yeah.
Brilliant. Excellent. Wonderful. Let's have a look at the next one.
Okay, sir. Why did human resources dash up? Yeah, I know, sir. I made a mistake. Actually, it is a third person, so I should have used employees, but I used employ.
Right. And once again, we saw concerning singular and plural earlier. Do you remember?
Yes, sir.
Concerning news, when it's plural, then we don't use the article.
I-
And here it's concerning the verb. Do you remember? When it's
yes.
third person singular of the verb, it does take an S. When
Mm,
it's not third person singular of the verb, then there is no S. You
that-
see that, Arpit?
yes, yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Excellent. So let's
Uh,
have a look at
Another
the
one.
next one. Yes.
Joy doesn't like new technology. Dash. So does Sam. I said, but answer is like neither does Sam. Uh,
Not
so
neither. Well, that's American. The Americans would say neither.
okay,
Um, nor. But the British would say neither.
okay,
Nor. See? So
yeah.
in British English, we would say neither. And why is it neither instead of something positive like so does Sam?
Mhm. Sir, because the first sentence is in negative form, so it should be.
That's right. Yes, because you're referring to something negative, you see.
Mhm.
Joe doesn't like new technology, and so it's used, as it says in the feedback, as an additional negative. So when it's negative, then when you answer or when you say another sentence referring to it and concerning it, then you would say, neither does Sam. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, if I was to say, I like pizza, so
Mhm.
does Sam. Well, that's okay
Yes.
because that's positive and positive. But if
Positive.
something's negative, like I don't like pizza, neither does Sam, then that's negative and negative. And of course, in this case, the negatives
Mhm.
go together and the
Yes.
positives go together.
Okay. And sir, if I had said like neither Joy likes new technology nor Sam, so it was correct.
So you could say, so Joe doesn't like new technology, and you would say, oh, nor. You wanted to use the word nor?
Correct.
Oh, so like neither Joe nor Sam. Yes, you could say neither one nor the other. Yes, then you could say nor if it's referring to both of them.
Mm.
You could say neither Joe
Uh,
nor Sam
uh,
like new technology, meaning both Joe
yes.
and Sam don't
Mm.
like new technology. Yes, that's another way of saying it. Absolutely. Hmm.
Yes.
Yes, very
So
good. Yes.
so it's compulsory, sir. When you are using neither, then second thing to, should be nor, right?
That's right. It's either neither nor or either or. So if it's all positive, if it's positive, then you have it all positive. You see,
Mm.
you
Correct.
can't say either nor, and you can't say neither or. It's either
Mm.
or neither nor. So if it is uh, either we go
Like I
uh,
say, either Joy or Sam like new technology.
right. If it's both together, for example, if they're both positive, so like either we take the bus
Mm.
or we take the train. So it's either one or the other, but it's both positive because we have
Mm.
both possibilities available to us. But if I was to say neither the buses nor the trains are running today,
Mm.
then that would be negative for both of them. So it's either positive for both or negative for both. But you can't mix those two together. You can't have one positive and one negative.
Okay. Yes, sir. New thing I have learned today.
Excellent. That's wonderful, Arpit. So
Okay.
let's have a look at the next one.
Yes, sir. So it it is time the advertisement dash out. And I said,
Advertising.
advertising. Okay, it
Yes.
is time the advertising dash out. I
Dash
said,
out. Yes.
send out. The answer was sent out.
Yes.
Uh,
Because this is a certain structure, okay? This is a certain way of expressing this particular expression. When you're saying it's time, the way to say it is it's time that something was done. You see? It's time I went to work. It's time I ate my food. It's time I um,
I
saw.
went for movie. I went.
Yes, that's right. It's time I rent that movie. It's time I saw that film. So whenever it's time, it's always the past simple. So it's a simple past, simple perfect, and not the present. So it's not saying it's time I see that film. No, it's not. It's time I go to work. No, it's time I went to work, because it's time means it's already time. That means it's the time has already gone by, and the time, it's like almost saying the time is already passed for me to do this. I should have already done it, but I haven't done it yet. So it's
Correct.
in that sense.
Okay. Yes, I
Excellent.
got. Yes.
That's great. Excellent. Let's
And
look at the next one then, Arpit.
yes, she attended the sessions dash she hadn't been invited.
Right.
Uh, and I had selected in spite of. She attended the sessions in spite of she had not been attended. In fact, I was confused, sir. Even I was thinking of even though, but then I said in spite of would be nice way to say. So I selected that because I was confused in this too.
Hmm.
Even though, in spite of.
Now, you need to understand the meaning of this expression, in spite of. What does in spite of mean, Arpit?
Uh, like uh, uh, like if I'm like if I'm going to gym, okay, and there are people who take protein to make their bodies, so I can say in spite of not taking protein I have made my good body.
So, in spite of, it's like saying despite something. Have you heard of the
Yes,
expression despite something?
yes, sir.
So, it's one situation, okay, and
Hmm.
when you're saying despite that, in spite of that, that means, okay, uh, there's been something bad, okay,
Hmm.
but despite that, there's been a recession and the economy is really bad. In spite of that, my business is still operational. I'm still in business in spite of that, in spite of the recession, in spite of the economy. You see?
Hmm.
Now,
So, sir, I can say like this,
yes,
like in spite of there was a lockdown, I was able to
yes.
make business.
Exactly. That would be an excellent example. In spite of the lockdown, I was still able to continue doing business. I was still able to continue with my business. So, even though doesn't give the sense of despite something negative, I was able to continue with something positive, even though doesn't
Hmm.
have that sense of the negative, which is the extra meaning that you have in the expression in spite of. With even though, that is to say, although this is the case,
Hmm.
even in that case, there was
Hmm.
also this other situation, you see. So
Hmm.
she attended the sessions, okay,
Hmm.
even though, that means although,
Hmm.
uh, even that it was the case that she had not been invited. So we're not talking about something negative here. We're just saying that it's two different
Hmm.
situations. One situation is she attending the sessions. Another situation, she hadn't been invited, but she still attended the sessions. But neither of them are particularly negative. You're just describing two different
Yes.
things
Correct.
and showing that one thing is happening,
Mm.
although uh, we're taking into account the other one. But it's not necessarily because of something negative.
Yes.
So, in spite of is referring
Uh,
to doing something. Um,
Positive out of negative.
right, that's right.
Yes.
You have a negative situation, and in that negative situation, you're doing something positive. Now,
Yes.
you see the difference there. And even
Yes.
though it's just a contrast, you're saying that one thing is the case,
Yeah.
although, or even though, or even if it's that case, then we still have that other case. But it's not referring to anything negative. Okay?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, that's great. Excellent. Let's look at the next one then, Arpit.
Yeah. They are having the software dash today, and I
Yes.
said they are having the software to be analyzed today,
Mm-hmm.
and the answer was analyzed only. So they are having the software analyzed today.
Yes, because of they are having, you see, that is a present continuous. Now, if it was a sentence, the software needs to be analyzed today, then there's no present continuous. There's no gerund, there's no present indicative continuous. So we have a different structure here. We have a different expression, you see.
Mm,
If
mm,
it's the software needs to be analyzed today, that's fine. That means something has to be done, needs to be done. But if something is being done,
mm,
then it's being done, it's not being to done.
mm. To
You
be
see
done.
what I mean? It's
Yes.
being and then directly the simple the past simple, okay,
Yeah.
directly the past participle done, or in this case analyzed. So it's being done. It's
Correct.
being analyzed. They are having the software analyzed today.
Mm,
They
okay.
are you see the difference between it needs to be done and it is being done. They are
Mm,
having the software analyzed today compared to the software needs to be analyzed today. And it's all a
okay.
question of whether it's uh, the present continuous, the having,
Mm,
or if it's the software has to be. And there,
mm,
it's not having, it's just a statement. The software has to be, just a simple
mm,
present. It has to be done. But you
okay.
hear that it has to be done rather it has done. It
Mm,
has done. It's when it's something is uh, um, uh, being done. You see, when it's being done, then it's
mm.
past simple. You see, when
Yes.
it
Yes. Yes.
and when it's the present, it needs. Then it needs to be done.
To be done. So
That's the
this
difference.
means, sir, it is already in the process, and like
Yes, that's it. It's already in the process. That's the
yes,
difference.
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. They are having the software analyzed today. Okay.
Yes, they're having it done today. So they're having it
Yes.
analyzed. It's already in the process of
Yeah.
it being done today. But if it needs to be done, that's in the future, it needs to be done. So it needs to be analyzed. Then we have to be, you see,
Mm,
like indicating that it's something that has to be done in the
mm.
future instead of it
So,
of
so,
deciding that it is already being done today. They are
so,
already
sir,
having it done. Yes.
yes, sir.
Mhm.
So we can say like they are having the party today. Um,
Yes, they're having the party today.
okay,
Or
okay.
they need to have the party today. You see the difference? If it was to
Yes.
be, they need
Mm,
to have, or to be, or to have. If it's the infinitive, then it would be they need to have the party today. But um, but if it's they are having the party today, well, you need an extra verb. Let's say they are going to celebrate, or they're having a
mm,
celebration. Oh no, let's say they are having something done. So they're having um, the repairs done today instead of the repair. The repair has to be done today. Either it's the repair
mm,
is being done today, or the repair has to be done today. That would be a good example.
Okay. Okay,
You,
sir.
you see the difference there?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got.
Excellent. Let's look at the next one then,
And
Arpit.
he was asking,
Mm-hmm.
dash interesting questions that I envied him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I said he was asking so interesting questions that I envied him.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it should be as such. He was asking such interesting questions. Mm,
Right. Now, what is the difference between a countable and an uncountable? Do you understand the difference between countables
yes,
and
yes, sir.
non-countables? Yes.
Countable means you can count. Non-countable means you cannot count. So
Can you?
here,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So here we cannot count the questions.
So here, that's right. If it was so, okay, it would be an uncountable, like so much sand, so much water, so much money, so much earth, you see? But
Mm,
when it's such a lot of questions,
mm,
or such interesting questions, or such a lot of things, or such interesting things. We can count them: one thing, two things, three things, one question, two questions, three questions.
yes.
But we don't talk about so much sand. We don't say one sand, two sands, three sands. We don't
Mm,
say one money, two monies, three monies, one water, two waters, three waters, one
mm,
earth, two earths, three earths. No, there are some things that are uncountable, and therefore that would be with so. And you would talk about so much, okay?
mm, mm.
But when it's
Okay.
countable, it's so many.
So many. Yes.
So
Yeah.
many is countable, and such interesting things or such things, that's countable. So such is countable, and so
Mm,
many,
is not
um,
countable.
no, such, there's such plus a countable noun, such interesting questions, and so many. Hang on, such
Mm.
interesting questions, so many interesting questions. No, what did I say before? Um,
Uh,
so
Such an interesting question. You said it's countable,
that's right.
and, and so many.
Right. The
Like
difference is because you can't use so on its own with countables. You can't say so interesting questions. You could say so much earth, so much water, so much sand. That you can say. But such, which is actually a combination of so much. If you think about it, you take away the letter M of
mm,
the word much, you take away the letter O of the word so, and you take the S of so and the uch of much, and you put the two together, and you have such. So, in fact, such is a contraction of
uh,
two words in one. So,
okay.
so much becomes such. And that's
Mm,
why you cannot have here in that dash, in that blank, the word
uh,
so, because you have to use
okay.
much. And so, if it was so much,
Mm,
it would be referring to something
okay.
uncountable, so much
Okay.
water, so much sand, so much earth. But um, if you have such, then you can have it.
Count.
That's
Yes.
right. Then it can be with a countable because you can say such interesting questions.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so we can see, we can say like this also, sir. Like he is such an interesting person.
Yes, he is such an interesting person because
Oh.
there, a person, you can count the people: one
Mm,
person, two people,
mm,
three people. So, such an interesting person because it's accountable. But you wouldn't say he is so interesting person
uh, yeah.
because
Yes.
that cannot be written there.
Mm,
Um, so it just has to be such when it's a person that's countable, and so much when it's uncountable.
yes.
And then you have
Yes.
to add the word much, and then it will be an uncountable: so much earth, so much water, so much sand. Okay,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that's
I
right.
got it.
Let's have a look. Let's have. Oh, we still have two to do, so we can do those two. So, what
Okay.
is the next one?
By Friday, I dash all the stuff. By Friday, uh, I said like I will meet all the stuff, but answer is you're showing I will have met all the stuff.
Right.
So
Now, either you say, without saying by Friday, you just say, I will meet all the staff.
mm,
Then you are talking about something you will do sometime in the future, but without specifying when
mm,
it'll be. You
mm.
could say on
But sir,
Friday.
here we are using Friday, na? So
Yes,
automatically it
but you
uh,
can use it with the on in front. It's all because of the word by that it changes everything. Because it
mm,
has two different meanings. If it's on Friday,
mm,
I will meet all the staff, that would be correct,
uh,
you see.
okay. Yes, yes.
But when you're saying by Friday, you mean by the end of Friday. That
Okay.
means by the time Friday has gone by, it's like
Mm,
saying after Friday. Because when you're saying
correct.
by that time, it means
Mm,
once that time
after.
has passed. So we are now in the future. That's why we have to use that future perfect. I
Yes, yes.
will have met because it will have already been done.
Yes, yes, sir. I forgot. Yes, there is by. Means
By is
I.
like saying after. And after
Mm,
Friday, I will have met all the staff because Friday will have already gone by. And because Friday is
yes.
the day I meet the staff, by
Mm,
Friday or after Friday, it'll already have been done. I will already have met all the staff. You see the difference there?
yes, sir. I got it. Yes.
And will
Yeah, but
meet would be when it's on Friday,
on
or if
Friday.
you don't specify any particular day, then it's just the future I will meet. Or on Friday I will meet. Because it hasn't come yet. But by
Yes.
Friday, it's referring to when it will already
Have.
have have happened. Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
And one
The
more to
last.
go,
Yes,
Arpit.
sir. Yeah. He dash return the office keys.
Hmm.
So I said he must return the office keys.
Now, if
Uh,
it's must, it would not be returned because
mm,
it's like something that has to be done in the future. Like he must return. Do you
mm,
see what I mean?
yes,
Because
sir.
returned is the past. Returned
Uh,
is like he has returned.
mm,
But
correct.
if it's must, you're not referring to the past because if he must do it, that means he hasn't yet done it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you understand that. So he
Yes, sir.
must return
Uh,
is something
yeah.
referring to the future. He still has to do it. But
Mm,
here it should have been should have. Here it's
mm,
referring to something that should have been done in the past.
yes, sir. He should have returned the key, office key. Yes, sir. I got it, sir.
Right.
Yeah.
That means it should have been done. It's something which, that's
Mm,
once again a question of tense, you see, a bit like we were seeing before with uh, will meet or
mm,
will have met. So you
will
need
not.
to be careful with the tense to know
Mm,
when to use the present, when to use the past, when to use the future, when to use the past. Very
yes.
important.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
you must always be careful of the ending of the verb. If it's a past participle with ed, it's the
Mm,
past. So we cannot say he must, which
must.
is like
Yes.
in the future, with returned, which is a past
Like
tense.
past,
Past.
right?
That's right.
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
it's either all in the past or all in the future or all in the present, but we cannot mix the two unless, of course, it's
Mm,
as we saw before, future perfect, but that's only for a specific reason. But otherwise, if it's not a specific construction like that, we have
mm,
to respect the tenses.
yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. I
he
got
should
it.
have returned, he ought to have returned. It's
Mm,
something that should have been done, ought to have been done in the past. Yes.
okay. Okay.
Mhm. You see
Cool.
the difference there,
Yes,
Arpit?
sir. Like I have, if I have to make sentence, then like I should have done this work. Yeah. Right.
Right.
Or if
Exactly.
I'm
I
saying
should
he
have done
must
this.
do this work.
That's right. Exactly. That's the future, referring to future. That's something he still has to do, you see, in the future. He must do this work in the future.
Yes.
Or he has to do this work in the future.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what would be good for some homework for you, just to make sure that you've understood all of these corrections,
Mm,
is if you go through all of this test again, look at
Mm,
all the mistakes that you made, and for each sentence where you made a mistake,
mm,
you create
mm.
a completely different sentence using
Okay.
a different example, of course, but
Mm,
applying the same principle that is
mm,
being looked at in each point where you made a mistake, so that you will then express that particular rule of grammar in a different sentence, which this time will be correct because you're using the correct tense,
mm,
or you're
mm,
using the correct form, plural form or singular form, etc. And if you show that you can express it yourself in another sentence which is
mm.
different but is using the same technique, the same principle of grammar,
Yes, sir.
then it shows that you have understood it, and we can have a look at that if you like in our next
Yes, sir.
lesson. You'd
So
like
yes,
to do
sir.
that for
Next,
homework? Yes?
yeah, definitely, sir. I will
Hmm?
in the next lesson. I will try to means I will use all this principle which I have learned of
Exactly.
grammar, and I will make a sentence, and I will
Yes.
show it to you in the next class.
Excellent. For each of the mistakes that you made, you do a new sentence different from the one given, but using the same principles and techniques and grammar that's being looked at in the different places where you made mistakes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's
Yes,
great.
sir.
Wonderful. So
Uh,
tell me, Arpit, how did you find the lesson? What did you think of it?
so it's really good, sir. It's helping me because grammar, like means I don't like learning grammar that much, but this
Mm.
way is very right. It means it's engaging.
Right.
It is interesting,
Mm.
and while talking also you learn. So it's a nice way, sir.
That's good. Well, I'm very pleased to hear that then, Arpit. I'm glad you enjoyed the lesson as much as I did. That's
Mm,
brilliant. And so
thank
I
you.
look forward to our next lesson
Yes,
together next time,
yes,
Arpit. That'll
yes,
be great. Wonderful.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And thank you very much to you too. See you next time. Thanks a lot. Take
Bye,
care.
bye, sir. Take care.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye
Thank
bye.